Hello, good evening and welcome to my humble model railway, Bedstead Junction. This is Paul Cherry Trains. Now tonight we're going to be looking at a newly acquired locomotive. For those of you who actually saw the preview, I'm sorry it's been a while between me doing the preview and me actually producing this video, or at least attempting it. I've had quite a few nights out this week and things to do as well. So, last night I was watching the cricket. If you're an England fan, at least said about that the better. But anyway, we're on to this now. And I was going to do this a lot earlier, and we're looking at the time of about it's 23:11 on a Friday night. I'm decided to stay in. But I will admit it's been quite hot and stuffy in this house, and I fell asleep. So. Well, here we are at least anyway. Now the locomotive, as promised, is going to be by a controversial in some ways designer, divisive, Edward Thompson. He succeeded Sir Nigel Gresley. Now I'm going to, a lot of my dates might be approximate on this. I've done as much research as I can up until today. Unfortunately though, I should be doing, I've not got as much knowledge as, say, for example, as my railway, which I cover most, which is the GWR. But I'll do my best for you tonight, so away we go. Now, first things first, we'll have a look at our locomotive, and I'll be turning the camera around and we'll see it in just a few seconds. Right, so we've got Chamossaire on the track all ready to go. And apparently Chamossaire is a famous racehorse, and I think that these at least all the A23s, as they were designed, were named after racehorses. So I believe that that's something which they share with the Deltic diesels as well. Okay, so this is there's our Chamossaire on the tracks ready to go. So let's go forward. Now I can tell you this straight away, okay? I'll just set this locomotive moving forward on a very, very small level on the controller. And that is perfect. That is as good, and I'm not just going to say this because it's something because it's my locomotive, okay? This is as good as anything I own for slow speed running. I thought I'd just give it a go. It pulled away with no snatching. That is absolutely superb. Now, first impressions looking at this locomotive, I am absolutely delighted, okay? And this is even before I've actually given it a running in session. And we're going to start that process by giving this one a little run on the track now. So let's go forward. And we'll talk a little bit about the actual locomotive itself in real life. And how it came about. Now, you have to excuse my sometimes limited knowledge of the LNER. And for those of you with greater knowledge, please be kind if you correct me on any of the details I give us not right. Now, this locomotive was designed by Edward Thompson, who was Chief Mechanical Engineer of the LNER from 1941 to 1945, I believe. And in fact, he retired at the age of 65, and he succeeded Nigel Gresley, the great Sir Nigel Gresley. Now, so forgive me if we're getting a bit slow tonight. It's very, very stuffy up here, okay, in this room. And in fact, I've left it to quite late. I've got the window open and it's cooled off a little bit. So he succeeded the great Sir Nigel Gresley in 1941. That's when, unfortunately, Sir Nigel Gresley passed away. And I believe he was in his about 64 when he passed away. Now, in 1941, that was a difficult time to become a chief mechanical engineer of any railway, because you were really at the height of World War II. In 1941, our cities were being bombed, ships were being sunk by U-boats at an alarming rate, and literally during wartime everything was in short supply. So any design of any locomotive, I guess you had to put forward a very, very good case for building it. The same dilemma actually fell upon Hawksworth, the very, very last chief mechanical engineer of the Great Western Railway, who succeeded Charles Benjamin Collins in 1941. Oliver Bullitt also had the same problem of designing locomotives during wartime. So did the LMS with Stanier. So all of these people during wartime. But obviously Thompson came in at a very, very difficult time. Now any redesign of a Sir Nigel Gresley locomotive is bound to come under criticism, and it's bound to hit the spotlight. These were really a design of the P2 class locomotives, which were two H2s. Mikado, I believe. And they were designed for running on difficult lines in Scotland, where large powerful locomotives were required. And only 6 of the P2s were actually built. Now when Edward Thompson became Chief Mechanical Engineer and succeeded Sir Nigel Gresley, he was left with one of the problems. Now a lot of people have said, well, he was trying to erase the great works of Sir Nigel Gresley. I disagree. There was a need for a redesign of this locomotive for the P2 class, really for greater availability. There were some mechanical issues which were being experienced, and the decision was made to redesign these locomotives as Pacifics. And being done in wartime, obviously every piece of material, I guess, had to be made to count. Now one of the things that a lot of people criticise for these locomotives appearance wise is the positioning of the cylinders, the outside cylinders. They were positioned, they were moved further back, really so that they could be use the con rod still. So it was still a 3-cylinder locomotive, and this was done really for ease of maintenance. During a period of time like wartime, the requirements for a locomotive would have been greatly different. And I personally think that these are quite handsome looking locomotives. Now I just bought a book on, give a shout out to Adi Pullen, look out for his channel on YouTube, and he actually recommended a book about Edward Thompson. I've only had a chance to flick through it today because it's only arrived today. So I'm going to trying to become a little bit more acquainted with this particular person. Apparently, before he became Chief Mechanical Engineer, he worked with Sir Nigel Gresley in many ways. They did disagree a lot on locomotive design, on certain aspects of it. But in my opinion, that is the basis of a very healthy working relationship. And that is something, we're going to get, that is something which is possibly a controversial statement, but it's true. And from this, King's great design here. In my opinion, this is a great design. Remember, they were of limited use. They were built for the difficult lines in Scotland. They were nowhere near as numerous as other locomotives. But I believe that Thompson did a good job when he redesigned these. Apparently, there were problems with the frames. But with adequate maintenance, I guess it would be okay. They were actually rebuilt when Arthur Peppercorn, I think his name was, took over from Thompson in 1946. Then Peppercorn came out with some of his own designs too, like you had the Tornado. But for this design, I believe that Thompson did a very, very good job with the resources he had at hand. Now we're going to come on to this, talking about this one as a model, and we're going to be going up on the Lazy Susan quite soon. I'm going to have a look at this one in detail. Now before we do that, we're going to do a points test. We'll just stop up at the signal box. I'm going to do a little bit of a crawl. We might be able to see it do it. That is superb. That's on a curve. That's on a curve and it's handling that perfectly. Well, so we're going to come into the sidings. And then once I've done that, I believe that the initial test of the locomotive will be done. I'll try and run it around the track in reverse as well for a little bit as well, and then we'll put up on the Lazy Susan and we'll have a closer up look at this. Now this is, in my opinion, the magnificent Chamossaire, up close and personal on the Lazy Susan. Take a look at that. Now some people have criticised this model by saying that the livery is too light. That is, in my opinion, is all a matter of personal taste. Okay, some people prefer the shade which is you get with Bachmann. In my opinion, this is absolutely fine, and I'll explain to you why I think that's the case as well quite shortly. Now, some of the things which this locomotive came under criticism by, some people said it had a plasticky construction, where the body is made of plastic. Okay, fair enough. It's a very heavy model. Now, you might not be able to see this from here, but let's see if we can get a view from above. Oh, bear with me just a moment. We're going up in a moment. Going up. I'm going to go out of focus just for a moment. We focused on my little cabinet there, and then we'll see what we can get what we're talking about. Maybe just see it from here actually. Right. Now, one of the things a lot of some reviewers criticised was there's a kind of a line that's like a seam down the middle of the boiler. Okay. Yes, it is visible. Okay. Now, one of the things which came under criticism was that it looks slightly uneven. I'm not sure if I want to pick this locomotive up, but yes, if you look very closely, you might notice that. Should that seam be there? I don't know. For those of you who are well acquainted with these models in real life, well, they were all scrapped in the 1960s, so I don't know if anybody's actually seen one in real life now, but let's have a look and see. The line that's along there, bear with me just a moment, is depicted on the box. If you look at the drawing, it clearly shows it. If you get more than a foot away, can't even see it, in my opinion. So for me, that is not a problem. Another thing which came under criticism, and I don't know if I got one with me right now, we'll have to see if we can find something to look at it with. And it was shown to be the case on some of these. And yes, I've got the same effects on mine. Whether or not it's supposed to be on here, I don't know. We'll have to come down here, have a little look. So this tripod is it's all like mechanical, and you can get into a bit of a tangle with it sometimes. That's all I can see. Let's see now. Right, do that screw up. Yeah. Now, because of the plastic construction, a lot of people said that the you've got a warped plate here, running plates. Now, again, it's not something you would see from a suitable distance while it's running on the track. But obviously it's something which some reviewers saw, and they were quite right to mention it. That may be a problem for you, it might not be. Right, now I don't have a ruler or straight edge of that something of that nature, mainly due to the fact I left school in 1976. I finished work 7 years ago, so I don't really keep such things at home. But let's have a look and see. Now this is quite accurately folded, so it should betray any curve in there. If there is any warping in that plate, it's very, very slight in my opinion. But it appears to be, now I don't know whether you can see this, but on here, that's slightly curved upwards. Or it looks like it's slightly curved upwards there. Right at the very, very front there. Now I don't know whether or not that's meant to be like that or not. So I mean, the buffers look level. Again, it's hard to tell. Let's have a look and just see. It wasn't. That's not curved up on the drawing. You can see that there. Let's have a look. Now, whether or not that's an optical illusion or not, I don't know. Well, that seems to be slightly. Well, that was another one of the complaints about this locomotive. Well, you need to decide whether or not that's a problem for you or not. For me, it's not. Okay, I think it looks okay. I mean, we're just trying to see whether or not that's an optical illusion or not. They're curving up there. Okay, well, we'll move on. Now, while we're here, we'll just straighten this out a little bit. You can clearly see the 462 wheel arrangement. Okay, so you've got the 4, 6, 2 back there. In the way that Hornby are doing things at the moment, okay, this back pony truck doesn't swivel. But they actually, the reason that's given for that is that it enables them to be able to model it more accurately. And what you get is a set of flangeless wheels. Those wheels there, you might not be able to see them from here, they're flangeless, okay. Now on some of those, they float above the track and don't even rotate, okay, on some of the models. On ones that I've seen from people like Sam's Change, for example, The wheels actually revolved on here, so we'll see what happens with mine there. Also, one of the things that some people point out is that the coupling rods. When you look at this, it looks like there might be a problem with the coupling rods, but it don't actually manifest itself. Ah, yeah, look, see that there? Look? I think it's only where there's a little bit of slack in the mechanism. But you see where it goes up and down there, look, without that one moving. So I think there's just a bit of slack in there. Bear with me just a moment. Right, so what I've just done, and I've just checked that crank pin is done up tight. And to do that, you need one of these, okay? A nut spanner, a spinner. That Hornby provides one of those. I don't know if I can get my grip, these massive pulls in the way, but they fits on the end anyway, on the end of the crank pin. I've just checked that crank pin's tight. But that was something that was pointed out on Sam's review actually, was that he thought there might be something wrong with the quarter ring, but there isn't. That there is just a little bit of slack there. I don't think it matters. That's fine, it runs perfectly well. And the crank pins are not loose. Let's move along to one of the other causes of complaint. The nameplate. Try and get my camera to keep still. I don't know how well focused we are on there, but that's been printed on. And a lot of people have said they didn't like the, but Sam's train certainly didn't like the look of that. Yes, it would have been nice. This locomotive, I think, was 230 odd pounds. I don't know if they're still in the catalogue, but 230 odd pounds. It would have been nice if they would have provided etched nameplates to go on there. That would have been nice. In fact, I might even look out for those. One other criticism. With these details here, slightly wonky. It's hard to tell from here. They look like they might be slightly tilted backwards. No, they look alright from here. It's hard to tell. It's one of those things which you have to really be fussy and look at really close of it to see. And from in my opinion, I mean, there's no glue marks that I can see here, so it looks fine. The numbering on the cab looks nice. The 514 got a nice bit of shadowing there. There's the builder's plate, I should imagine, under there. On the tender, your LNER, very nice with the lining. Nice bit of lining under here. On the running plate. That's fine. Now the only other thing that was pointed out, and it's not crucial in my opinion, this is my humble opinion here, I don't know if we can see inside the cab. Let me have a look inside. I don't know if we can see right inside the cab. If you get a look right inside the cab, it's nicely painted in there, nicely detailed. But the dials themselves, when you look at the dials, they're not actually picked out, so they don't have little, like the needles and the markings on the dials. Again, whether or not is a problem or not, that's a problem for you. Some Hornby models appear to have it, some appear not to. Okay, you can also see here the cab door is already fitted. There. There should be a full plate between the locomotive and the tender That appears to have dropped down. It's sort of a hinge, that's hinged, and it's gone flat against the locomotive just here. So I don't know if I can get that levered up. I'll have a look at that later on. I'm sure that's a hinged full plate. I'll take a look at that later. Some other things which we can talk about here. The coal load. Let's just set that slightly aside. That looks fine to me. It's nice and shiny. A little bit similar to the Batman ones in a way. Nice bit of sparkle to that. That's a nice bit of coal load there. You can see the details. If I can get my massive pulls out of the way. Details on the tender there. Presume that's a water filler you can see there. And we can tip this locomotive on its side slightly as well. You won't be able to see that controversial line which I can hardly see, to be honest, from here. Well, there you go. Now, brass safety valves. The whistle appears to be plastic. Got glazed windows there. I think the wheels are nicely done. Now I'm going to go a bit controversial here, because I did say there'd be some controversy here. I come up with controversial statements. These are 100 at the moment. I believe the recommended price has gone right down. They pick these up for about £140. This is little more than what you might pay for a railroad model in some of the shops. On the basis of the actual running characteristics of the locomotive, which seems to be fine to me, and if you're happy about the livery, which to me it seems fine. I mean, I'm happy with it. Other people might say it's a too light a shade. I'm happy. And then the other things about it being the plastic construction. But really, for £143, I picked mine up for £104. And it was including postage. Second hand, only been used once. And you can see it's in perfect condition. This, at the price it's at, I would say it's a bargain. Now, in one of his recent videos, and I mean, know how critical he can be about things sometimes. Barry Davis has got this model, okay, Chamossaire, the same one, and he's happy with his for the price he paid. I'm happy. Proper chuffed. Hilton. He's got one of these, but I think it's a different model he's got. I can't remember whether he's got Sir Edward Thompson. I'll have to have a look at that. Look at his video again. He's got one of these A2/3 Pacifics, and he's happy with his. I must say I'm happy with mine. Okay, I wouldn't say that lightly, because when you're buying something, obviously I'm telling you this is something which you should consider buying with your own money. But mine, for what this costs, I mean, I'm on the Hornby's website. They've got the Somerset in Dorset 460 in Prussian blue. No, it's an 060. It's an 060 4F locomotive. Okay, that they want £140 for that. If it was the choice between paying £140 for that, and I love the S&D, and £140 for this, I would be ordering this. Let's take a look at the front. Now it's always not easy to see because you're going black against black. I'm lit. I mean, I've got the lighting going. Great guns here. Let's just check we've got the levels. Yeah, the levels are on top level. Right, so what do we have? Lamp arm depicted here. Handrail, hinges. Separately fitted smoke box starts. The steam or steam or vacuum pipes, they're already fitted. I'm going to come down slightly lower. Go more of a head-on view. There we go. That's more like it. Now, this tripod, and it's all sort of screws and things you need to adjust it with. It's a relatively basic one. There we are, we're still now. On the buffer beam, it's got number 514. Hooks there. They don't supply a chain link, but how many people would really need that? That's constant, you know, up to you, personal taste. Do we have sprung buffers? Oh yes, we do. Beautiful. Coming back to this side here, got the reversing rod quite nicely depicted there. Valve gears all nice. I can't see any glue on my model or anything like that, or any fingerprints, anything, any major defects. That looks fine to me. I'm coming right to the other side. Let's just move this more to the middle. I mean, the idea of the Lazy Susan, you should be able to do all this without having to handle the locomotive, but something you'll note, this locomotive is virtually, it literally just fits on the table, on the Lazy Susan, on the turntable, so you can guess how big this locomotive is. The valve gear all looks nice. Nicely done. The wheels are all painted green, lovely. Again, you can see the 514 there. There's the builder's plates, cab doors. So I can't get quite into the cab, but there's quite an enclosed cab there. We've got the lettering on the tender as well. It's quite nicely done. That's all shadow. So that is, you wouldn't get that on a railroad model. Fully glazed cab. Again, there's all these other additional fixtures and fittings here. Well, this appears to be quite a nicely well put together locomotive. I mean, if there's a slight curve in the footplate, I can't see it from here. Looking at it close up. Is it the sort of thing you'd notice too greatly anyway, if there's a slight curve there? I know there shouldn't be. And on Sam's change, he was right to point out on this, because this was pretty extreme, I think, quite quick. But this don't look too bad for you on my model. You've got a nice handrail here going round. That's nicely finely done. Another handrail here. Plenty of separately fitted parts. I mean, the handrail's there. There. I mean, all I can say is you judge for yourself. Judge for yourself. You can see where Thompson moved the outside cylinders further back. Really, so it can be up with the mechanism without having to get longer con rods there. But that, remember, this locomotive was designed in wartime, and to get the go in service, apparently these locomotives turned out to be very, very useful. They steam well, good performance, 90 mile an hour top speed. Really, they would have met the requirements or needed of them. They did. Some critics say the wheels they were prone to wheel slipping, but that's something which you see on a lot of Pacifics as a characteristic of them. I mean, the bullet Pacifics of the Southern Railway, for example, they were known to slip. So I don't think that could be something which you could single this locomotive out for. Let's have a look at the back of the tender. There we go. Vacuum stroke steam pipe there, hook. I don't believe you'll get a NEM type coupling on the front of this locomotive. But then again, I don't think they were ever designed to be going tender first, were they? I wouldn't have thought. I wouldn't be running this one tender first. Vacuum pipe, steps, lamp irons, lamp iron. Very, very nice. Sprung buffers. Okay, so we'll come back to this side of the locomotive. Right, so what do I think? I think it's one of those where you need to make up your own mind, okay? Now, for this particular type of style of locomotive, a class A23, various people have actually reviewed these. Popper Chuffed, I believe AD Puddings reviewed one of these. Sam's Trains, obviously. Now, Sam's Trains, you can be obviously looking at every detail. You have one of these under the microscope, okay? Personally, I can't see anything really too much wrong with this. I'm very happy with this myself. Paul Bryden. Now, Paul Bryden's got built himself a layout which was designed partially by computers, as far as I'm aware. He's got this exact same model, okay, and is in the main negotiated his track work, okay, and he'll be the first to admit that his track work has got it's got a horrible curve in it somewhere, but really for in the main on his layout, the locomotive ran well and handled all everything the locomotive could throw him. In fact, that section of the track he was had any trouble with, he runs his smaller locomotives on. That's Paul Bryden. And other reviewers have actually done reviews of this locomotive. And I would say all these various people, look up all the reviews and make up your own mind. But if you're an LNER fan, okay, and you don't, I mean, you're not anti-Thompson, okay, because a lot of people say that, you know, to redesign a locomotive to Nigel Gresley, he was trying to wipe out the Gresley era and things like that. I don't think he was. I think if you can put that to one side as well, I think you've got the choice, the chance here. I mean, if you can get one, of getting a very, very, very nice locomotive. Really, really nice in my opinion. Okay, a few things on here. Should the seam be there at the top of the boiler? Well, according to the drawings, yes. I mean, I've not seen any aerial views of the actual of a real one like it. You only get to see them from this kind of view. The nameplates, yes. On this smoke deflector here, it would have been nice maybe to have had the choice of etched nameplates, okay, and in fact that's something which gets included on with the Cura scale. I know you're paying about I paid about £170 for the Cura scale locomotive, and that came with etched name and number plates. Okay, so the inclusion of that wouldn't have gone. Would have been something would have been nice to have had. But apart from that, I mean, I would say, fine, go for it. Don't get too much in the detail pack. And that's because a lot of the things are already fitted, like this, like the vacuum pipes and that. Handrails around the smoke deflectors. They're nicely put on, in my opinion. Altogether, a lovely locomotive. While we're here, I think I've come across something. Now, something was pointed out. Some people said this is curled upwards here, this bit. I'm not so sure it is. And I think, this is just my opinion, I think it's an optical illusion. This part here is tapered inwards. When you get right down level with it, right down on the level, I don't think that is curved upwards. I think, like I say, because it's that as it curves around, it tapers in towards the front of the locomotive. It gives you the illusion that it's curving upwards when it isn't. And now, looking at that, I am 100% happy. Right, so following on from my preview of this locomotive, which I did in a previous video, Kenny Ashford Trains actually asked to see this locomotive putting a rake of BR Mark 1 maroon coaches. And so for Kenny Ashford Trains, here we are, as you've requested. And if people request to see certain things on my layouts, my little layouts here, then I would do my best to accommodate your requests. Right, now then, where are we with this locomotive? Would I recommend it? Looking at this now, okay, I would say absolutely. Its running qualities are perfect for me. Doesn't slow down. Delivery is a matter of personal preference. I think it's fine. It does seem to closely match my the paint I've done on the baseboards though. So let's just see. But it looks really good. I mean, let's be honest about this now. It's a magnificent locomotive. I mean, for those of you who are LNER followers, I mean, some of you, a lot of people would be all for Sir Nigel Gresley, who built things like the magnificent Mallard and Flying Scotsman. And Thompson was only the chief mechanical engineer for 5 years, or 4 or 5 years, but remember that was in wartime. Probably one of the most difficult times to be a chief mechanical engineer, and also to keep a railway running. I mean, during the World War II, our railways were literally ran into the ground, which led to nationalisation. And when those people who were appointed in World War II, for example, like Thompson and Hawksworth on the Great Western, they were the very, very last of a long, distinguished line of chief mechanical engineers. I think this locomotive looks magnificent, okay? Some people reckon it don't like the appearance. I think it's a magnificent locomotive and a worthy addition to anyone's layout. One of the points that was done, some people actually looked at that very part of the running plate where it dips down. It looks like it's curving upwards, and it to me, it's an optical illusion because it actually curves inward. It tapers inwards, and I don't think it is, in my opinion. But that again for you is to maybe have a look at one and make your own mind up about that. But I think it looks fine. When you get right down to eye level, it looks fine. Now, if you like what you see, I mean, I can't tear myself away from this. I mean, this is getting late at night, and we're into a really, really late night running session again. One of my infamous late night running sessions. I don't start till late, and this one, when I put this one out tonight, well, I think for the sake of the night owls amongst us, that I'm going to be doing this. Okay. Some of you, like me, don't get to sleep until the wee early hours and everything else, and so I'm going to edit this and put this on tonight. So this is Friday night, the 28th, I believe it is, of June. Let's have a look. Got my calendar. I have to turn my calendar over. What a yes, it's, I don't know if you can hear me from here, but it's Friday the 28th, okay, of June, and we're just turning midnight, so this one is going to be one for you night owls, okay? You know what, I want to spend more time with this locomotive. I was going to end it here, but I'm not going to. I'm so happy watching this locomotive going round. I would say for the price, I mean I picked this one up second hand, but only used once, okay, and it's in perfect condition. For £104 that I paid for this, what a bargain! What a bargain! And if you can pick this up for £140, brand spanking new in the box, I mean, maybe if you can go to a model shop and take a look at it, get out of the box, have a look at it, fine, do that. But I can only go on my experience, okay? And I would say, wow, what a lovely locomotive this is. It is running as smooth as silk around my layout. No undue noises. Superb. Now, Hilton of Popperchuff, he's got one of these. I think it's a different name, but it is virtually the same locomotive. He was full of praise for his model, and I agree, okay, absolutely fine. And this model, I think Barry Davis has bought one of these. Well, yeah, he has. I saw him mention one in one of his recent videos. And if he recommends one of these, then I don't think I need to say any more, to be truthful. Look at that. Okay, it doesn't have a glowing firebox. Didn't get H name plates with it. It was a plastic body, but then a lot of locomotives have got plastic bodies. That's up to you, that's a problem. It weighs a ton, by the way. It weighs an absolute ton. I think the chassis makes up a lot of the weight. It's a good runner. For the money, you can't go wrong. Now, if you've enjoyed watching this video, please press the like button. Please subscribe to my channel. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. Ring that bell for future videos. Like I said, I did a trailer on this. For those who I kept waiting, I do apologise for that. I need to get the occasion where I could do that. And I'm usually quite busy during the day, doing things like gardening and stuff. And then at night, usually this time, even though I live on my own, this is very often the only time I can actually sit down and enjoy my railway. And tonight, it was absolutely boiling. I must admit, I did fall asleep downstairs. And so I started doing this late. I reluctantly, I say this, I watch this go round, I so reluctantly say, I'm so much enjoying this, I bid you farewell and good night. Oh, let's watch it go around one more time and I'll switch the camera off. Just look at that.